Yes, it's official. There is a footnote or postscript, and it's slightly serious. Right, hello there, good evening, welcome one and all. My name is Paul, I'm also called Knickknack. I'm the brains behind Knickknack's Old Peculiar, the world's most incredibly repetitive blog. I do the Daily Teaser, which you'll see floating past both on Knickknack's Old Peculiar and on my YouTube channel, Mr. Cuddy2977. And you will also see my reviews about movies and about TV shows that I'm watching. Right at the moment, let me double check the date here, it is Saturday the 24th, which means last night I saw the second episode of Strange New Worlds. Second series called Ad Astra per Aspera, and I felt I should tell you about it, as I've done with other episodes. Episode 2, Ad Astra per Aspera. Don't you just love poncy Latin titles? They're wonderful, aren't they? Episode 2, Ad Astra per Aspera, opens with a summary from Season 1 to remind us that, number 1, Una Chin Riley, Rebecca Romaine, first officer of the USS Enterprise, has been arrested on the serious charges of concealing her various genetic modifications. The scene shifts to show us a young Una on her homeworld healing from a nasty wound while her parents discuss getting help from increasingly hard to find Illyrian doctors. It then shifts again to show us the imprisoned Una facing the prosecutor appointed by the court, Captain Patel, Melanie Scrofano, who is offering Una a plea deal, one the latter completely rejects, along with her court-appointed defence lawyer. As she tells Patel, "How can he cancel me when he works for you?" The scene shifts again whilst we hear Captain Pike, Anson Mount, narrating his personal log and telling us he's in the Volterra Nebula, planning to visit ace defence lawyer Nira Katul, played by Yetide Badaki. I hope I've got the name right there. I'll apologise to the lady if I haven't. Katul has a reputation for being exactly the sort of feisty legal brain who can get number 1 off the proverbial hook. There's only one very small problem. Councillor Katul hasn't spoken to her own old friend Una Chin Riley in many, many, many years, and doesn't intend to start now. Now, what did I make of this utterly, 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 utterly superb episode? Beyond the fact that it was, obviously, utterly superb. Well, I'm going to start by telling you exactly that. It was utterly superb. Explaining why could possibly be the tricky bit, though. First things first, the basic shape of the episode. A courtroom drama, a good old-fashioned, reliable courtroom drama is exactly that. It's a very reliable form of dramatic story that's guaranteed to be both understood and well told. You can't get it wrong. The Accused, 12 Angry Men, Philadelphia, I could go on there. Indeed, Star Trek itself has got dozens, almost said cousins, has got dozens of courtroom episodes, all the way from the original shows The Menagerie and Court Martial through the Next Generation's The Measure of a Man and Voyager's Death Wish. Courtroom story. A trial is an incredibly dramatic tale to tell, and it's possibly the most watchable thing you're going to see on the small screen. Indeed, I think it's possibly the best courtroom drama Star Trek's done. I've seen a few of them, and this is very well done. Partly, it's the attention to detail. The crew were giving testimony in dress uniform, in Starfleet dress uniform, and they were ones that harked back to the original series dress uniforms. Suitably updated, obviously, but they do hark back to those original series ones. This is, after all, supposed to be 5 to 10 years before the first series. So those dress uniforms were all the right colour, they had the right sort of braiding on them, complete with the appropriate decorations, the multicoloured patches on the left breast, which were made up of different coloured triangles. So that attention to detail is beautifully done. But it's mostly down to the writing, which I can't really comment too much upon. I'm not that skilled enough to say, well, this is good, that's bad, what have you. But the writing to me was well done. But it's mostly the performances that caught my attention. It gives us a very sympathetic defendant in the shape of Rebecca Remains #1. In what has to be, despite the fact this is only the second episode, this has to be the performance of the series, I think. I don't know if she's going to do better in the rest of the series. I don't know that she did as well as here in the first episode. Partly because she wasn't in it, obviously. But she's done a very good performance in this episode. The supporting cast, or at least Peck, Chong, Navia, Mount et al. Are all great, especially given the minimal spoken lines they had. Anson Mount as Pike, Melissa Navia as Ortegas, Celia Rose Goodings Uhura had their faces on overtime, watching a friend and first officer in trouble. They were literally in a science fiction equivalent of the public gallery, watching the proceedings and supporting a friend by being there. But the three of them, all of them, just their faces, you could see their reactions in it. They weren't saying much vocally, but their faces were saying a lot. For me, though, the absolute standout performance, and I know I'm going to get the young lady's name wrong, I'll apologise now if she's watching, the standout performance was Yetide Badaki as Nira Katul, ranging all the way from the arrogance in her initial dealings with both Captain Pike and his crew to her absolute superb closing speech at the end of the tribunal.
It's 21 hours.
Thank you, Katie. The character had a lot of great writing, and the actress, I think it's Yetide Badaki, put in the performance of a lifetime. And frankly, ad Astra per Aspera, my Latin is even worse than the rest of my foreign languages. Ad Astra per Aspera is one superb, beautiful episode because of those performances. Now, I hear you say, I take it you were impressed, Paul, is what I'm imagining you're saying. Yes, I was. Ad Astra per Aspera is truly a superb piece of work. One I put on a par with the Series 1 classic, Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. But where Lift Us Where Suffering showed us a child being sacrificed, showed us a sci-fi metaphor for a sweatshop, Ad Astra shows us exactly what organised discrimination, whether it's government sanctioned or not, can do. Frankly, I am going to be glued to the show's next episode tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and I am going to hope that is as strong as Ad Astra. It's got its work cut out for it. At any rate, that is where I'm going to leave this post and say goodbye, but just so you know, I will be watching tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow on Friday, the 30th of June, and I'll be posting my written and video reviews of it on Saturday, the 1st of July. In between now and then, I'll be watching the next episode of The Mandalorian, Chapter 21, The Pirate. Ha 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 ha. The Pirate on the 26th of June, and I will have my written and video reviews of that up on the 27th. I would love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you will see my reviews go past as and when I upload them. I will see you then. Take care, have fun, be seeing you, and do that thing with a Vulcan hello. I'll see you next time. Right, just as one point for this footnote or postscript, just at one point, Una talks about her family and uses the phrase, we could pass. In this context, it's an old definition of the world, or of the word pass. It means a member of one ethnic group or of mixed heritage looks convincingly like the white majority and could escape the discrimination faced by their fellows. From the little I know, it's a far more common term in the US, much more so than here in the UK. But the fact I knew what it meant and know people in the UK who would use it that way doesn't necessarily make it any less ugly, I think. Let me know what you think.